Today we're going to be building some roads, and this is actually right up my alley because just about every day I drive on roads. So we're going to clear the area of objects, and then we're going to clear the area of objects, and then we're going to clear the area of objects again. And that all seems to be way over there in that direction. We don't have roads yet, so we're just going to go ahead and drive straight over there. 4 seconds later, we're fairly stuck. Luckily, this comes with all-wheel drive and diff lock, so we should be less stuck than we were a moment ago, although we're only getting worse. So we've determined we can get stuck very easily, which is probably why we need to build roads everywhere. So along paths like this, which is road or buried road, it can be a little bit wishy-washy, but once we get over here into the mud and dirt, we really start to sink in a hurry. So this is the area we need to clear of objects, which means it's a crushed car, a bunch of pipes, and some giant boxes. Which I'm pretty sure is why we have this thing. Starting to get the hang of this, I got the first thing picked up. Seems a little front heavy, but that's what cranes are for anyway. So if we drive over here, we're just going to go dump it somewhere out of the way. I don't think it has to be graceful, it just needs to be gone. Okay, we can detach load, actually just right there like that. That's not going to be nearly as slow as I thought it would be. So the overall goal is to restore the path to the concrete plant, which I'm pretty sure we're at. So we're just trying to make the road reach here. It's definitely a shame I can't hook to more than one thing at a time, but we'll make do with what we got. Go ahead and store that one up there for now. Just as I thought, I can roll those ones out of the way. I am trying to store things somewhat carefully so they're not in the way down the road. I see a lot of glowing pieces that we might need for other projects. Luckily, I am an incredibly strategic thinker, so this is all going very well. It's kind of fun actually just dumping stuff around everywhere. Once I slide that little explosive thing out of the way, now another zone is done. We just need these couple things. Alright, the crane actually works a lot faster when you use it halfway properly. Now we need to build a road. And apparently to do that, we're going to pour sand here, which involves pouring sand with the dump truck, flatten the sand with a dozer, lay raw asphalt with the asphalt paver, and roll down the raw asphalt with a roller. Dump trucks are used to pour sand in order to manipulate terrain. I'm listening. We're already stuck. Alright, we're going to turn on diff lock, and now we're not stuck. Given that I'm pretty sure we're dumping sand like right there, we're going to go ahead and back up. There's no sense driving forward with the dump truck. There we go. I think we're close enough to where we want it. We're going to need a little more sand, but we just need to do that 1,000 times. It'll also be a lot faster if that machine is not in the way. This appears to be some kind of loader bulldozer. It's like a front end. I don't know what this is. We're going to get it out of the way. It is nice and quick. I do appreciate that. Okay, we've got more sand. That's super easy. We just press G and we're full. This road is going to be like glass by the time we're done. It's going to be amazing. Another load of sand. We're even starting to move the rocks around us. Perfect. Oh, I can actually refill the sand way out here too, so I don't actually have to drive all the way back there as it turns out. Luckily this is the off-road model, so we can just drive right over top and dump it right into place. Yep, perfect. It appears I put this into sand flattening mode. It's not going to have any effect on the ruts in the ground as far as I can tell. But the sand in front of us, it will hopefully smooth right out. I'm just going to go ahead and move some of these rocks out of the way. We're just going to flatten all the sand around. But once they're out of the way, we'll feel better. Might have misclicked a little bit there, but the sand is getting flat, so we got that part right. And we just got to push a few more little rocks out of the way. The more space we have to work with, the better it's going to be for everyone. Okay, I've gone way to the back at the start to hopefully smooth out some of this sand as well. I don't know if that's actually going to work. It might only be with the sand we placed up ahead, really. I have placed a lot of sand though, so this will be fine. The angle is dropping as we go, so that's a good sign. I feel like we've got a little bumpy there, so let's back up and smooth that out one more time. Not really sure how this is supposed to work. Good, good, good. We're pushing through, Still going to need more sand to get all the way across. But actually that's starting to look reasonably smooth if you just don't look at this part either. We're maybe going to dump some sand there too. We might as well. We might make the whole thing like glass. We do have an asphalt roller that might get really stuck in the sand, but it might also have a very smoothing effect on the sand over here that's annoying me. So we'll just sort of take a little drive and see how this goes. It is actually smoothing it out somewhat, but it's going to get stuck, probably already is. Not entirely sure what to do with a stuck one of these things, so we'll try and push it out with one of my other things. Yep, that seems to about work. We'll push this thing back into place where it belongs, never to go off-road ever again. We got a sandstorm blowing in, so I can't see a thing either. I'm just going to keep dumping sand everywhere because I figure we can push it around and use it somewhere. Okay, let's push again from way back here since we got more sand going on. Hopefully we're able to smooth it out nice and easy along the way. So far the sand flattening feature mostly just makes a bunch of lumps. Because as soon as my tires hit that, everything's going to lift up and screw it up again, so we'll just go very, very slowly. The sand doesn't feel very flat to me. But we will get a road through here, and that's all that really matters. I mean, I did technically make it through to the other side finally, so that's something. I'm also not really sure why the lines here are red, but I assume that's hopefully a good sign. They were sort of blue before, but I filled this all in with beautiful, beautiful smooth sand, so this will be fine. Well, I think my terrible sand road over there is ready for some asphalt. The game is still telling me I'm supposed to be laying down sand. I've laid down enough sand, we're going to go for asphalt now. Alright, here we go. As soon as it's laid down on top of the sand, it's going to start laying it down. I guess that's what it looks like. Hopefully that's all okay. It is smoothing it out really nicely, so that's something. Not sure I trust that this is working properly. We're going to go do the whole thing though, and then we'll roll it afterwards to see if it turns into an actual road or not. Getting a bit bumpy at the end. We'll see how it likes that, but it seemed to have more or less gone over that. That's fine. Okay, it turns out I can make the machines actually work by themselves. So I had him going to do this road. I think for now I'm going to make the truck go ahead and do this road. So the truck is automatically going to dump sand on the road because my asphalt didn't work. I'm not really sure why it didn't, but I'm going to see what the truck does, and then I'm going to have the loader work by itself to hopefully smooth things out. So that guy's really going for it. He's going to dump the sand and do it at high speeds. I like his style. Although he didn't actually start dumping till the very end, and that means it's my time to shine. I think what I'm seeing now is that because the lines weren't red and solid all the way through, we weren't ready to actually start asphalting. But we can fix that soon if I just go ahead and smooth this out just a smidge. I mean, we're basically just getting a double smooth at this point. That was really satisfying. Smoothing it out the second time was what really did it. Alright, so we're going to try this little rascal once again. Hopefully it actually starts laying down asphalt then that we can roll. Yeah, that looks better. Asphalt's supposed to be like dark gray. Little bit hard to control this thing, but that's okay. Roads aren't often straight if you'll notice, probably because these things are hard to drive. There was also a boulder stuck in the road I didn't see, so I was kind of hung up on that. I feel like I might have to go over this one more time to get the edge that I didn't really touch. Not sure if I'm even allowed to do that. But what's the worst that could happen? That actually works. Yeah, we're going to get a double wide road. At least a double wide road. Suddenly the ideas are turning. Helico just sort of pours the asphalt out wherever anyway. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Now it's time for this stupid thing. We're going to go ahead and roll this all we can. Hopefully it'll smooth it out even further, but also compact it into something smooth as glass. Ooh, that's satisfying. I'm getting green lights even though I'm only so far smoothing half of it. Kind of makes me wonder just what I am able to like build a road over then. Like, do I have rate control now? Can I build roads anywhere I want? Okay, just gonna do the other side. There was maybe a few sections left yellow. That's probably because I didn't get the full width of it actually smooth. Yeah, this will finish it off. Hey, you see that? Years of driving on roads has taught me everything I need to know about building them. So I think that just finished because it took away all my lights. We're still allowed to smooth this out, which is interesting. I'm noting a lot of the principles and mechanics at work here. But we absolutely need to test our road out. So we're gonna go find where that was and drive our fast vehicle along it. Didn't realize there's so many rocks in the road, but we made it to our newly built road. Ooh, it is nice. Yeah, super smooth actually. Much smoother than you would have thought for a road that I built. And now we learned a lot, so we can do even better. So we still got to restore the path to the concrete plant. Connect the two locations featured in the request with a route. Carefully plot waypoints for vehicles to reach a destination. Avoid or fix dirt paths and build bridges accordingly. So we got to go all the way across the map. Like, there is some pre-built roads that are mostly there that we could work on. And obviously some bad spots, like that's all sand. But I am pretty curious as to what my limitations are. So like, I've got to connect to the road down there from here. And the quickest way to me seems like in a straight line. But am I allowed to do that? Well, that's just the kind of dumb question we're here to answer. I mean, it would be shorter because we're going to come right down there. Hopefully basically right where my truck is and going up there. Instead of going all the way around. We don't have time for that. So let's dump a few loads of sand right here. So far it's letting me dump, and this gives me a great deal of hope because we've had a lot of fun with sand lately. I can just insta-fill this and dump. Do you know the possibilities the game has just given me? I don't need bridges, I've got unlimited sand. Like, there wasn't a movable pile of boards in my way? Not anymore, we're just gonna go right over them. So we're gonna go into sand flattening mode and just charge into this for a second, sort of to see what happens. I'm hoping we raise up a little bit, sort of like that, and then we'll push the sand forward, and this is the start of our super highway to nowhere. It actually works, this is gonna be so much fun. Alright, I flattened that out, time to dump a whole bunch more sand. I know before it did have us removing a lot of the items that were in the way. We can just bury them in sand and it's really all the same. And the best part was there was probably like a $1,500 budget for this project, and now it's going to be like $150 million. We do a little bit need to see how it's going to react going down the hill a little bit here. I'm not sure if it's going to try and push it level or if it's going to actually make me a nice path downwards, but we might take a few attempts at this. Okay, so far it seems to actually set me downhill pretty good. We're going to need a little more sand in this part because I don't know if we can drive back up this. I think we hit a tree or something there, but we'll keep smoothing this out till it looks nice. If I fill this on a slant, some of the sand actually spills. So if I tip my trucks deep enough, the sand will actually just pour right out the back. Okay, I dumped a whole bunch more sand. I'm hoping we can push that out. We'll see where that leaves us. I feel like it's starting to get dark out, but we've been at this for a little while. And we got to kind of gradually push the sand down. Otherwise, it's not going to work anyway. So I need to build the road from here, but I've got a bit of an idea. So we're going to go from here to here, and then we're going to come down here. And then we're going to follow our pre-built road. That's going to come to here. And we want to connect it probably right to here if we can. And then where are we going from here? All the way up to here. So maybe let's delete that last point. And let's maybe just pick a straighter route. Straighter routes are always the fastest. And then by the time we're here, there we go. That is our route. Dispatch vehicles. What does that do? Vehicles do seem to be moving down my road for some reason. Not really sure why. I placed a few piles of dirt along the way, actually quite a lot. I feel like we could save the dozer thing some work if we place just a little more sand to save it its trouble. Alright, now that we got this thing good and stuck, we'll be able to smooth it out and make an actual road somewhat. Okay, we're back in sand flattening mode. We're going to start pushing down and just sort of see where this winds up. We'd also have to push the dump truck out of our way, so this first attempt isn't going to be the most graceful. And right here we're going to have a nice gentle sweeping turn and corner, pushing that thing out of the way. Okay, you know what? We're going to put it into travel mode just to get it unstuck. Now that that's out of the way, we can more or less just keep going to make a happy road, and we'll turn around and go up. Because it's basically already smooth as glass, just a couple more passes and it should be nice and smooth, and then we'll make whatever adjustments we see fit from there. That actually works so well that like I'm alarmed something is wrong. Now that I got that established, I want to widen the road a little bit. Also, these rocks ahead are starting to annoy me. I keep having to maneuver around them, so I'm long overdue to just push them somewhere else. Anyways, now that I got some of those rocks out of the way, we're going to do a few passes along here to see if we can make this a little bit wider. So this is getting pretty smooth, and I also realized up here that I can obviously place sand over asphalt. So that means that once we fly down Roller Coaster Hill, I can continue building my very own road up the next hill if I want to, and I think I do want to. I just need to be careful in picking which direction to go from here because I think I need to go up over there. That means I've got some more rocks to move out of the way. I really do need to remember to move these other things out of the way right now, otherwise they're going to get stuck in my idiotic construction. And then it's right back to dumping the sand. I feel like I can utilize a slightly different strategy now. So I can actually move while pouring some of this. Just kidding, I can't. But when I can do a little bit of the spreading without using the other machine. There's been a sandstorm the past little bit, so I've just been dumping sand bit by bit by bit. We'll go ahead and push it out and see where that actually leaves us. I think I may have just discovered a problem with my plan. I've been in the quarry zone the entire time. I think as of right about now, I'm actually not. I need to back up 10 meters to be able to actually get sand again. So for now, we'll go back to flattening up my new road and see where that leaves us again. At least if we have a flatter road to travel on, we'll be able to gather sand much quicker. This part of the road's easy to build when we don't have to fill in an enormous gap. Although the road does get a little bit narrow here. I'm trying to widen it out just a little bit by pushing it smoother and deeper.
But I might still need to dump a few loads over here.
Since it's going to be annoying driving over the sand again and again, I think I might actually pave up to where I'm at, and then we can make some adjustments from there again. Which means it's this speed demon to the rescue. For how ugly this machine is, it really is a very nice looking game.
It's time.
Hopefully this works. So we're going to start going over it. Asphalt is going down. Perfect. The trucks are really going to appreciate when they hit the roller coaster drop. Not sure what I'm hitting did made me go over there. Everything's fine. Okay, we just got to adjust a little bit. I don't think this machine really cares that much. Once we go over it with the roller anyway, it all smooths out. I don't know what I'm hitting, but there's something in the ground that keeps causing me to like tilt in weird directions. It's like I'm getting hung up on something. Probably. It doesn't matter if I leave some tire prints in this stuff. So it looks like over here I'm only allowed to go like one width wide, which is kind of a shame. Not really sure why that is. Although that will make my job considerably easier moving forward if I don't need to try and make it super wide. Now to see if this horror can actually make it all the way up there. We made it. Now let's roll this thing into a glass finish. Might take a few tries, but we've got time. Any bumps in the road are not my fault. They're caused by faulty machinery. Real professionals do it backwards. It feels so satisfying once you get to the end. Just ignore that one little bump in there. Again, that's not my fault, but look at that. Alright, let's see how it performs. We don't even need all-wheel drive because it's such a good road. Yeah, the trucks are gonna fly down this. Mission super accomplished so far. We just gotta build another 40 kilometers of it. So I'd probably better also go explore a little bit of the route to make sure we're not doing something dumb. I mean, there's some debris in the way, but we'll get to that when we get here. Plus, what I was hoping for by being back in this area is that there's another sand quarry somewhere nearby that we can load up with sand, so we're going to explore the clouds a little bit. So if I've found a bridge that's very out, or maybe a jump. There's definitely stuff over there, but there's no quarry to fill up with sand with. Alright, well now I'm pretty confident there's not that which I seek, so we're going back to doing it the hard way. And it turns out that once you've compacted your first layer of asphalt, you can lay down another one so I can widen my road. Because you know me, we're all about safety. So far so good. There's only a few minor holes in the road, but what good road doesn't have a few holes in it? Okay, now that we got the road all straightened out up until here, it's back to dumping all our sand in the wrong spots because we're stupid. But we're just going to continue on pushing this road ever upwards. I thought it might be wise to start dumping the sand way up there where that pile is in the distance, but this spot right in front of me is actually really muddy and slow, so I think I'm just going to push over that first. And that obviously seems like a really good structure to build a road on top of. This is very, very, very satisfying. I do see we're going to have a tree coming up, and I'm not sure what we're going to do about that just yet. But we get to push this whole next strip in now, and this is going to be so satisfying. I'm starting to figure this out. Turns out this tree I can sort of just run over, so we're going to move that out of the way fairly easily. That also makes me wonder what else we can move out of the way. There's a tree over here that's sort of blocking the view, so we'll move this out of the way to get a better look. Progress waits for nobody. Well, the game clearly didn't like what I was up to. I don't know how often it saves, but that's alarming. Okay, we're back. It doesn't seem like we lost too much progress. I've also had to take a little bit of a detour to smooth out an area over here because I realized it's faster to collect the sand from here. I'm not entirely sure how this happened, but I got a little sidetracked on a side quest. But that's okay because it could just be a new feature to my road. And that actually wound up as a pretty big pile of sand. But we should probably talk about that one over there. There used to be a large cliff and a road going under there. That's all now buried. I made a pile of sand almost as high as the rock. But you cannot under any circumstance give me unlimited sand and expect me not to do something stupid with it. Also, my computer literally has never been so hot. This pile of sand is so big it even goes to the upper layer. In fact, it connects back to where I was dumping sand over there, and it even covered my old road and buried an entire vehicle. Actually, looking at it on the map view gives you a better perspective of just how big this is. Now we just gotta turn this into a nice manageable road. Just a few passes with the sand smoothing and this will be absolutely perfect. So far it's gonna need a bit of work. I keep hitting something right here and I think it's actually the top of a tree, so I've got to readjust my route a little bit. Well, you know what? I'm not sure this one's gonna turn into a very nice road, but I've got higher hopes for that one. So far so good. It is much smoother. I don't know about those lumpy parts. I'm not entirely sure why they formed. I think that might also be what we keep getting stuck on. Because there's sort of like a permanent spike in some of these things now. Yep, that's going to be a problem. I tried reloading the game, but a lot of those bumps do persist, so I'm going to try and work just gently around them. The road can snake a little bit. Most roads actually do turn. I'm not sure how paving this is going to go, but that's a problem for the future. Now we're going to come right over the peak of this because it, by coincidence, connects right back down to my other road. Okay, we're going to have to turn to the right just a little bit. Not sure why we have sand spikes. Okay, the road's going to lean over a little bit here, but that's a problem for the drivers. So then we just come down over here. Beautiful. And we're going to push right over top of this because that's going to connect right down to our existing road. It's like it was meant to be. And this is where we had left off on our other road. I was planning on building right over top of that building. That somehow turned into a giant sand mountain. Now we get to find out what we're actually allowed to pave or not. Which so far doesn't seem to be a lot of this one for some reason. Hold on, we're getting somewhere. Not very quickly, but I've managed to make it at least lay some down. It's even easier to do this in a dust storm, so thank you, game. Okay, so far it's an absolute work of art. Now the trick is, whenever you run into a bumpy section or tricky section, just bury it. Just like we do with all of our problems. Like that tree would have been a problem. The sand took care of that too. So let's try this again. Working from the asphalt we've already placed, we should be able to hopefully just make a gentle straight shot downwards. It's kind of working. We've had better results, but that's better than it was. Okay, I still can't get past that part right there. There might actually be a rock sticking up. I'm not really sure what the problem is, but I still have an idea. I'm thinking that since I just dumped a bunch of sand, I don't actually need to smooth it first. I can just start laying asphalt. So far, it's sort of actually working. Yeah, okay, as long as I can make it down the hill somewhere, we'll get a road. Doesn't have to be a straight road. Again, roads aren't straight anyways. Yeah, this actually works. Oh, this is great. This means we can really take our ideas to stupid levels. Yep, down here we go. Just gotta swing it to the left somehow. Oh, and here I was laying a bunch of sand down when I didn't even need to. I'm going to put the roller onto low gear because we might want to take our time just a little bit with this part. It did come out a lot smoother than I expected it to. Alright, got this part of the road done. Let's give it a try and see how it feels. We got to send traffic on it pretty soon, so we got to make sure it's drivable. We got to drop down to a lower gear. We're putting some big ruts into the asphalt. That's not a great sign. They're going to have to navigate around this, but at least it is downhill, so momentum is on your side. Yep, that's perfect. People are going to love my road. But now we got to figure out how to get a road up and over this thing. The beginning part is going pretty well, but this was pretty smooth in the loader too. Getting over these bumps, it might be a downhill type road building experience. I got the road as far as there, so we will smooth up to there, and then we have a better platform to build off of. I'm starting to wonder if it's a height thing. It seems like anytime you're trying to build so far above the native ground, the game really doesn't want to let you do it. Because at that point it turns into all these weird spikes and bumps, because I don't think they really wanted sand and stuff to be up this high, so building roads here gets considerably more difficult. So I've discovered that if I don't put it on auto mode for the sand flattening, I can actually smooth out those bumps to some degree. Which means we could probably start laying down some asphalt somewhere up here and finally build a road up and over the peak. From here it should all be pretty easy. This part got a little bit rough because I got a little bit lazy, but you get the idea. Just mind the power lines at this point. It was such a simpler time when all I was doing was building this highway. Now, so long as I can basically make it from here to there while laying asphalt, we're going to be okay. And so far we're spitting it out the back, so we're just going to coast gently down there and let gravity do most of the work. Now we're sliding sideways uncontrollably. There's like sand constantly flowing to my left and stuff. The game just really isn't happy with a lot of what we've done. Next problem, the road is too steep for my roller. At least from this side, but I gotta figure out a way to get it around. It looks so nice from this angle. So I've got the whole thing paved and smooth all the way up to just about the peak, where the roller just runs out of the ability to get up there. So I'm hoping I can just give it a bit of a push to get it the rest of the way up the hill. It looks like maybe with the loader, if I jiggle it just the right way, I might be able to push it up and over, although it's a struggle. We might need something bigger. Although I may have actually found just about enough of a route to get this thing up there. Okay, this is big because I'm finally at the top, which means I can probably finish the road. I'm just going to try and get what little bit I can up here before we go down the other side because I might not make it back up ever again. We did end up covering that part in sand, but at this point, I don't care. We're going to take whatever victory we can get because this took a long time. It's perfect. But now we got to put it to the test. This truck is built for going up and down roads. Wow, it's actually flying up this. We actually built a pretty good road. Not the flattest one we built yet, but it's also not the worst. So I think we're probably ready to open it to traffic. Alright, so the trucks are going to start here, where they're going to drive very carefully up to here, where they're very carefully going to align with my road, and then they're going to go up over the top, down the hill, very carefully of course, but I'm sure they'll manage. They can't necessarily turn that sharply either, so we're going to have to be careful for sharp turns. The steepness apparently isn't a problem at all, but the sharp turns, those are what are going to get them. At least until they get to this building, and then they can go, I don't know, that way. And they could probably actually find their way from here, because I think it's actually built roads. So with that, the vehicles are actually moving. I think we can actually go watch them. I do see him on the go over there. He went right over the top, no problem. Got a little bouncer on the other side, but they should be very professional drivers. So this guy's doing it absolutely fine. This is great. They actually like my road. And they're starting to make their way up the other side. We got trucks coming up behind us as well. This is really fun because this is actually working. They're actually making their way over the hills. That one is struggling a little bit. I'm sure the guy behind him will give a nice push and they'll be up before you know it. Teamwork makes the dream work. The other one couldn't care. He's basically already gone. Look at him go. I think he's going to go bust down a fence or something over there though anyway. Oh, he hit a wall. That one's also about to tip over. Shockingly, they don't really love the top of my road. Oh, that one's doing a wheelie suddenly. All right, don't worry. I'll help you guys. I'm ultimately responsible for this road, so I'm ultimately responsible for helping you guys get over it. Off you go. Don't have a lot of faith that upper guy's going to be able to make it. I think it was probably mostly a route choice problem. If he had to pick like a gentler route up and over the hill, I think he would have been fine. Gonna give him just a little bit of a push. Oh, they took them away. They said the route failed. They were so close though. He just didn't realize he had to keep his tires a little bit more to the one side. I'm sure with actually a slight route adjustment, they would be perfectly fine. Alright, so I tweaked the route a little bit. They're spawning in on the hill, which isn't great, but I've adjusted them so they're a little more to this side of the road. He made it over no problem, but he's a very capable vehicle. These guys, on the other hand, are less capable vehicles and even less capable drivers. Okay, I think truck number 1 is probably going to make it over, unless he hits the brakes like that. Nope, he just doesn't have like interlock on his axles. That's fine. That's why I can push. As stupid as this sounds, it might actually work. We turned the trucks into a train, and a train is what will save the day for road building. Yep, right up and over. Then it's mostly downhill from here. Not sure what's around the building over there, but that's their problem. That's a pre-built road. It is not my responsibility. They seem to be struggling on this corner. But you know what? I'm pretty proud of the road I built. So we'll fix it up and do it better next time.